Horror fans, the next couple of years are absolutely stacked with some of the best spine-chilling releases, from long-awaited sequels to bold new original stories. Whether you're into psychological scares, slashers, creature features, or atmospheric slow burns, 2026 and 2027 have something for everyone. So, let's take a closer look at some of the best upcoming horror movies that are guaranteed to keep us on edge. The Long Walk, September 12th, 2025. A fresh Stephen King adaptation is on the way, and the lineup for The Long Walk is already turning heads. Francis Lawrence, the director behind Constantine, I Am Legend, and several Hunger Games films, is at the helm, with J.T. Molnar handling the script. The cast is stacked too. Mark Hamill, Judy Greer, and Garrett Waring are all set to star, which makes this one of the more exciting King projects in years. Based on one of King's most daring novels, originally published under his Richard Bachman pen name, the story is set in a dystopian world where teenage boys enter a deadly annual contest. The rules are simple but brutal. Keep walking at a set speed or face being shot on the spot. It carries shades of the Hunger Games and Battle Royale, but with King's signature touch of small-town Americana and creeping psychological horror, the stakes feel even more unsettling. With that mix of talent, source material, and a director who knows how to handle both spectacle and character-driven tension, The Long Walk looks like it could be something special and deeply chilling. The Strangers, Chapter 2, September 26th, 2025. The Stranger saga is picking back up this September with the release of Chapter 2, the second film in Renny Harlin's new trilogy. Picking up where 2024's Chapter 1 left off, the story continues with Madeline Petch's Maya, who barely survived her first encounter with the terrifying masked killers. The Man in Mask, Dollface, and Pinup Girl, the same trio that made their debut in Brian Bertino's 2008 original. This sequel is set to be a long one, running well over 2.5 hours, which means there's plenty of time for the tension, bloodshed, and dread to unfold. After the mixed reviews for Chapter 1, the extended runtime might give the filmmakers more space to dive into the characters and really build out the horror. With Chapter 3 already planned to close out the trilogy, Chapter 2 is shaping up to be the big middle act where things get darker, scarier, and more intense. Bone Lake, October 3rd, 2025. Mercedes Bryce Morgan, who previously directed the stylish Shudder hit Spoonful of Sugar in 2022, is back with a new twisted tale just in time for Halloween. Her latest film, Bone Lake, blends erotic tension with psychological horror, following a couple whose quiet getaway at a secluded estate takes a sharp turn when they're unexpectedly forced to share the mansion with another mysterious pair. Premiering at last year's Fantastic Fest, the film comes with the cheeky tagline, "What's your body count?" a hint at the seductive yet sinister games that unfold. What starts as a dream vacation quickly unravels into a dark spiral of sex, secrets, and manipulation, as buried truths surface and the couples clash in a bloody fight for survival. Good Boy, October 3rd, 2025. Good Boy, a new indie horror film with a haunted house twist, is making big waves after its trailer went viral, sparking a 2,000% spike in Google searches. Originally planned for a limited run, IFC and Shudder have now upgraded the release to a full-wide theatrical rollout. Directed by Ben Leonberg, the 72-minute film is told entirely from the perspective of his real-life dog, Indy, a Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever. The story follows Indy and his owner Todd as they move into a long-abandoned family house. Soon, Indy senses eerie supernatural forces at play, and as Todd slips under their dark influence, the dog must fight to save him from being pulled into the afterlife. The film premiered at the 2025 South by Southwest Film and TV Festival, where it earned early strong buzz. It currently holds a 95% Rotten Tomatoes score from outlets including RogerEbert.com, IndieWire, and The Hollywood Reporter. Critics have called it an inventive spin on the haunted house genre, even while acknowledging it leans into familiar horror tropes. Predator Badlands, November 7th, 2025. Predator Badlands is the next big chapter in the long-running franchise, though the plot is still being kept under tight wraps. What we do know is exciting. Dan Trachtenberg, who won huge praise in 2022 for Prey, is back in the director's chair, and Elle Fanning has signed on to star. The real buzz, though, comes from Trachtenberg's reveal that this time the Predator itself will be the central character. That shift in perspective has fans curious about how the story will unfold and what new layers we might see from the iconic hunter. Filming has already wrapped in New Zealand, with its stunning landscapes doubling for the alien world where the action takes place. With Trachtenberg steering the project and the promise of a Predator-led story, Badlands is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing entries in the series yet. Anaconda, December 25, 2025. A surprising new creature feature is slithering onto screens this Christmas, an Anaconda reboot. This time around, the film is fronted by Jack Black and Paul Rudd, which might sound like an odd pairing at first, but actually makes a lot of sense. Black has dipped into monster territory before with Peter Jackson's King Kong, while Rudd is well-versed in big-screen spectacle thanks to his Ant-Man run in the MCU. According to the early synopsis, the movie takes a meta-spin on the 1997 original. It follows a group of friends in the middle of midlife crises who decide to remake a beloved movie from their youth. Their plan takes a wild turn once they head into the jungle, where they face unexpected challenges, and of course a massive snake. Alongside Black and Rudd, the cast includes Steve Zahn and Thandie Newton, with Tom Gormican directing. Primate, January 9, 2026. Paramount's upcoming horror film Primate has just locked in 10 new cast members, expanding its lineup alongside previously announced stars Troy Kotsur and Johnny Sequoia. The fresh additions include Jessica Alexander, Victoria Wyant, Benjamin Chang, Gia Hunter, Miguel Torres, Kai Alexander, Tien Simone, Charlie Mann, Amina Abdi, and Albert Magashi. Plot details are still being kept secret, but the project is coming from Johannes Roberts, who co-wrote the script with Ernest Riera and will also direct. Roberts is known for his work on The Strangers, Pray at Night, and 47 Meters Down, so fans can expect a tense and atmospheric style. The film is being produced by Walter Hamada under his first-look deal with Paramount, along with John Hodges and Bradley Pills. Hamada's involvement has been a big talking point since he left Warner Brothers and moved into his Paramount partnership, which started in early 2023. With Kotsur, an Academy Award winner, leading the film and a diverse ensemble now confirmed, Primate is shaping up to be one of Paramount's most intriguing horror bets. Soulmate, January 9, 2026. The world of Megan is expanding with a new spin-off that's aiming for something darker and more adult. Titled Soulmate, the film is directed and co-written by Kate Dolan, and it's taking the franchise into R-rated erotic thriller territory. Producer James Wan has described it as Fatal Attraction but with robots, which gives you a good idea of the unsettling mix of obsession and technology at play. The story centers on a grieving man, played by David Rysdahl, who tries to fill the void left by his late wife by bringing an AI android into his life. At first, she seems like the perfect partner, but things quickly twist as the android, played by Lily Sullivan, becomes dangerously possessive. Claudia Dumit and Oliver Cooper round out the supporting cast. Wan has promised the same dark humor that made Megan such a hit, but this time with a more seductive, boundary-pushing edge. Dolan has said she wanted to use the story to dig into themes of loneliness and relationships, pointing out that no matter how advanced technology becomes, some human struggles never really change. Produced by James Wan and Jason Blum, with Michael Clear and Judson Scott as executive producers, Soulmate is shaping up to be a stylish, creepy, and very different addition to the Megan universe. Return to Silent Hill, January 23, 2026. The Silent Hill franchise is officially returning to theaters with a brand new installment called Return to Silent Hill. Cineverse has picked up the U.S. rights and plans to give the film a wide theatrical release, though the exact date hasn't been revealed yet. This new entry is directed by Christoph Gans, the same filmmaker behind the original 2006 Silent Hill movie. The cast includes Jeremy Irvine and Hannah Emily Anderson, and the studio promises that the film will be a faithful adaptation of Konami's classic video game Silent Hill 2. The story follows James, a man shattered after losing the love of his life, Mary. When he receives a mysterious letter from her, he's drawn back to the eerie town of Silent Hill. But things are far from familiar. An unknown evil has twisted the once recognizable place. As James searches for Mary, he faces horrifying monsters and unravels disturbing secrets that lead him toward a devastating truth. Cineverse executives called Silent Hill one of the best video game franchises ever and praised Gans for recapturing its dark, haunting atmosphere. Gans himself said this adaptation was made out of deep respect for the original game, while producer Victor Hadida promised audiences an immersive and visually stunning experience. The movie is produced by Davis Films, Hassle-Free Production, and David Wolf, with international rights being represented at the Cannes Film Market. Psycho Killer, February 20th, 2026. Psycho Killer is a long-gestating horror thriller finally hitting theaters in 2026 after nearly 2 decades of development hell. Directed by Gavin Polone in his feature debut, the film is written by Andrew Kevin Walker, best known for penning Seven, which already sets the tone for something dark, violent, and psychologically brutal. The story follows police officer Jane Thorne, played by Georgina Campbell, who goes on a relentless hunt for the satanic slasher after he murders her state trooper husband. Along the way, she crosses paths with Marvin, a goth misfit tied to a mysterious figure named Pendleton, while James Preston Rogers steps into the role of the towering, terrifying slasher himself. The project has had a turbulent history. Fred Durst was once attached to direct back in 2009. Eli Roth circled as a producer, and multiple studios tried to get it made. After years of false starts, New Regency, Constantine Film, and Vertigo Entertainment finally got the movie moving in 2023, with Campbell cast as the lead. Principal photography wrapped that same year. The MPAA gave the film an R rating for strong bloody violence, graphic sexual content, nudity, drug use, and harsh language, suggesting it won't pull any punches in delivering a gritty, disturbing ride. Scream 7, February 27th, 2026. Ghostface is officially sharpening the knife again. Scream 7 is happening, and fans finally have some good news after months of uncertainty. The franchise, which kicked off in 1996 and has since become one of horror's biggest staples, hit a bit of a snag after Scream 6 dropped in 2023. With strikes, director shakeups, and casting changes, the future looked a little shaky. But now, things are back on track, and Kevin Williamson, the guy who wrote the original Scream, is stepping into the director's chair. Unlike Scream 5 and 6, which shifted the focus to Sam and Tara Carpenter, this next chapter won't bring back Melissa Barrera or Jenna Ortega. That means Sam's arc, including those teases about her potentially taking up the Ghostface mantle, is done. Instead, the spotlight is swinging back to where it all began, Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott. After sitting out the last film, Sidney is returning, and Campbell hinted the story will mirror Jamie Lee Curtis's recent Halloween run, with Sidney confronting her long history of trauma head-on. Plot details are still unknown, but the mystery of who's behind the mask always drives these films. There's even talk that Stu Macher could make a shocking return since his death was never fully confirmed on screen. On top of that, there are whispers of Patrick Dempsey reprising his Scream 3 role as Detective Mark Kincaid, and Courtney Cox once again suiting up as Gale Weathers, though neither has been locked in yet. Ready or Not, Here I Come, April 10th, 2026. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come is an upcoming American comedy horror film directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, with a script by Guy Busick and R. Christopher Murray. Serving as the sequel to the 2019 hit Ready or Not, the film brings back Samara Weaving as Grace Macaulay, while introducing new cast members including Katherine Newton, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Kevin Durand, David Cronenberg, Elijah Wood, Sean Hatosi, Nestor Carbonell, and Olivia Chang. Searchlight Pictures announced the sequel during a special screening of the first film in October 2024, confirming Weaving's return along with the original writing and producing team. Production kicked off in Toronto on April 21, 2025, with the cast expanding shortly after to include Geller, Wood, Durand, Cronenberg, Hatosi, and Carbonell, while Olivia Chang was later revealed to have joined as well. The Mummy, April 17, 2026. The Mummy is getting a brand new resurrection in 2026, this time under the direction of Lee Cronin, the filmmaker behind Evil Dead Rise. Blumhouse Productions, Atomic Monster, and Cronin's own company Doppelgangers are teaming up to produce, while New Line Cinema will handle distribution, marking the first time a Mummy film isn't released by Universal. The cast is led by Jack Rayner, Laia Costa, Veronica Falcone, May Kalamawi, and May Elgeti. With production having started in March 2025 across locations in Ireland and Spain. Unlike the Brendan Fraser-led adventures of the late 90s or the 2017 reboot, this take on The Mummy exists in its own continuity, carving out a fresh direction for the legendary monster. Clayface, September 11, 2026. DC Studios is moving forward with a Clayface movie, and it sounds like one of their boldest projects yet. Mike Flanagan, the horror filmmaker behind Dr. Sleep and The Haunting of Hill House, is writing the script, with the studio eyeing a director who can lean into the horror side of things. Early buzz suggests the film will carry the Fly-style body horror elements, which makes perfect sense given Clayface's grotesque powers. While Clayface isn't as well known as Joker or Riddler, DC seems committed to fleshing out Batman's rogues gallery after the positive reception to the Penguin series. This movie will tie directly into the main DCU, connecting with The Brave and the Bold, which introduces the new Batman. Casting hasn't been revealed yet, but fans are speculating whether Alan Tudyk, who voices Clayface in Creature Commandos, might step into the live-action version too. With DC pushing into different genres for its projects, Clayface could be a real standout, showing that superhero movies don't always need to stick to the same formula. If it lands, it might be one of the most unique and unsettling entries in both the DCU and the larger superhero genre. Well, that's it for today. With so many terrifying titles coming our way, the only real question is, which one are you most excited to see first? Let me know in the comments section down below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more horror news and updates. Until next time, stay spooky.